Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm sitting here with Jeff Taylor. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Waking up, but thank you.
At the community breakfast that we have every morning at 7, at the unholy hour of 7 in the morning, where people from at CROI, people from the community get together and discuss topics for the day. How did you like today's breakfast, Jeff?
I thought it was very fascinating. Sharon Hillier was talking about, contraception and PrEP and kind of the intersection of the two. And it's fascinating. It's a hugely important issue, and it's really exciting to see this getting a lot of attention the last couple of years at CROI. And Sharon Hillier, of course, is kind of the goddess of that research, and also a wonderful presenter, very community-friendly and very entertaining, which was good this morning. I think the phrase that woke me up was "when good vaginas go bad," when she was talking about the role of the microbiome and how that can affect both possible infectivity and also a response to PrEP and contraception. Fascinating.
So, Jeff, you've been an activist in the HIV field for decades, and also member of ATAC and
The
other
Activist Coalition, yeah.
and other bodies. And also, you're a member of the esteemed Community Liaison Subcommittee of the CROI Organizing Committee. I got this right.
Yes.
Right? I wanted to ask you about what this entails, what this work entails.
Sure. So we're on the program committee, and we're kind of privy to all the planning of the conference, but our specific charge as the CROI Liaison Subcommittee, and there's four of us, myself, Marenike Upkong, Mark Hubbard from the U.S., and Lisa Diane White from the U.S. So there are always four community members, and we kind of rotate over the years. But our charge is to deal with the community aspect of the conference, because they're very committed to making sure that community gets to come to the conference. And it's always a challenge for the program committee because, especially as they're now branching out into other diseases like Ebola and Zika, more and more people want to come, but they are very focused on keeping it small enough that it becomes an interactive meeting and not turning into something giant like IAS, which serves a wonderful purpose, but it's really hard for the scientists to get together and meaningfully interact. And so they're trying to keep it at around 4,000, and this year it's 4,200 we're allowed to attend. So there's an intense competition on who gets to come and who doesn't. So kudos to the organizing committee over the years for ensuring that the community does have a place at the table, and we're the ones who are kind of the gatekeepers of that. We send out the scholarship applications, and then we vet those. And then additionally, in the last 3 years, we petitioned the organizing committee to allow us to have a separate program with partners at AVAC and the Black AIDS Institute here in the U.S. And AVAC, of course, is worldwide, to bring their PX-ROR and BAI fellows to this conference, because the criteria are really strict. They don't want people to come to the conference who won't understand or be able to benefit from it. And so one of the key criterion are that people have to have attended a major conference in English before. And that's a daunting obstacle for a lot of people from resource-limited settings. But yet we have these really active, smart, engaged people on the ground that these international organizations are working with. So we partnered with them to bring a handful of people to the conference, and before the conference, we have a series of webinars. They and the organizations themselves work very closely with them to kind of bring them up to speed, and then we have webinars to say, this is what the conference is like, this is how you navigate it, this is how you turn to your fellow community people, and also friendly researchers to ask questions and help you navigate the conference. So it's been really gratifying to see this program going over the years, and a key part of that are these breakfast updates every morning, as you say, at the unholy hour of 7 a.m. It's difficult for many of us, but they do a great job of bringing in really exciting and dynamic speakers and kind of preparing people for what's going to be happening that day and what to look for at the conference.
So how many people made it from the community this year?
This year was a little bit smaller. We had, because of some challenges with the vetting process, it changed. But there were 5 community scholars. There were 28 community scholars total, and then an additional 5 from the AVAC BAI program.
Well, that's quite tremendous. That's a very good number,
yeah.
And for such a prestigious conference.
And one of the successes of that has been that many of the people who had been AVAC BAI scholars in the past were then able to successfully compete for a regular scholarship because they had gotten that experience, and it enabled them to do that. So it's working.
Now, to switch topics, we've had this tradition of working together across the Atlantic. our communities, but this has somehow weakened over the years. I don't know what is your impression, but I feel that it's not that intensive as it used to be before.
Yeah.
What do you think might be the reason?
Well, I think part of it is in traditional HIV treatment, it's been hugely successful, and there just aren't as many I think pressing issues and controversies as there were in the past. But I think the other issues are emerging where we need to re-engage on this, and especially the cure and then the prevention arena globally are two huge issues, and then also HIV and aging, because people now have the luxury of getting old with HIV, and we've never seen this before. It's a phenomenon nobody expected, and we're seeing some unexpected comorbidities in people, and globally we need to be addressing this because it's happening everywhere. There's always been kind of the bias that these things get studied in the US and Europe and maybe Australia, and then the rest of the world kind of gets to play catch up, and and we're not really studying it where the bulk of the epidemic is. So I think we need to re-engage on those issues.
We also have this problem, if you like, that Eastern Europe is so underrepresented. Do you think that we can perhaps work together more on that? Because also at this conference I realized that people don't even know or don't even see that this region is there and what the problems are. Or what do you think could be a solution for reinvigorating
Sure.
that kind of dialogue?
Well, especially to get people from the former Soviet republics in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. And I say, ECAB, hats off to ECAB for having really engaged that part of the world. And I think you guys have done a terrific job. And then we have some people here from ECAB representing, but you're right, it's not enough. And so maybe getting them to participate in the what has been an AVAC and BAI program, but their focuses have been in other parts of the world. So maybe if ECAB could also recommend people to be kind of brought into that program and brought up to speed so they can compete as well, I think would be terrific. Yeah, because we've been thinking about, the first couple of years where how do we get this on the ground? How do we kind of do the logistics, putting together a new program? And now we need to start looking, casting a broader net. So thank you for mentioning that. That's hugely important.
If you think about the conference so far, and tomorrow is the last day, what is it that stands out for you? What do you think is the most important topic? It seems to be, and we were talking about this with Mark Hubbard yesterday, it seems to be more low key in terms of there are no big breakthroughs and no headlines, like blockbuster headlines. But what is it that you think stands out this year?
Well, that's always kind of the rhythm of CROI and other big conferences like this, and the rhythm of scientific research in general, right, is that you get these huge breakthroughs, and then you have, 1 or more years of kind of incremental progress. And I think this is one of those years where we're seeing advances, but there's nothing earth-shattering happening. But it's all very important, and I think it's really good for community to be aware of what those are and how you get to those breakthroughs. Because people in the field kind of wait till the data comes out, and then they try to digest it. And I think the luxury that advocates who are here have is kind of watching the process and see how they got there. So they have a deeper understanding of what the data means, and they've had the opportunity to interact with, like they did this morning, with the researchers doing that research. And so I think that's really good. And then they can go back into their communities and provide kind of a more nuanced understanding of what the data means and how they can implement it on the ground.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Great, thank
and
you.
Enjoy the day.
You too.